Well, I want to begin by thanking WBT for the opportunity to share with you some of our company's technology today. Work I'd like to show you about Theravasc, and one of the major reasons why we're so excited about this at our company is that we're interested in targeting repurposed or identifying drugs and repurpose them that have a known safety profile. They're already off-label, off-patent, and we now have intellectual property locked up to take advantage of these drugs with a good safety profile for unmet clinical needs, in particular in cardiovascular disease. So the markets that we're primarily interested in, the first of which is peripheral artery disease, also known as PAD, as well as CLI, which is known as critical limb ischemia. As this slide illustrates to you, there's several million individuals in the United States alone that are afflicted with PAD, 12 to 16 million, as well as anywhere between 150,000 to 300,000 new cases of CLI per year. The important point about this, and I really want you to take this home, is that there's no good clinical therapy for this disease or condition. It's highly linked to type 2 diabetes. In particular, patients with type 2 diabetes are 2 to 4 times likely to develop PAD and CLI, and the only real therapy for this is supervised exercise regimens, which oftentimes, as you'll see in a moment, fail in these patients. We've identified new technologies that go beyond some of the current trials and some of the current therapies that are targeted to PAD. More importantly, the projected market for PAD is anywhere between 600 million to 1.6 billion annually. This is on the low side, primarily because now cardiologists are diagnosing and identifying PAD earlier, and the incidence of PAD is rising. And this just gives you an illustration of the severity of this in patients. What we have discovered in the laboratories at LSU and my laboratory and others within the company is that compounds, in particular sodium nitrite, which is a 1-electron oxidation product of a chemical called nitric oxide, which is absolutely essential for cardiovascular health, is a very selective nitric oxide prodrug. And that when you give this to animal models of peripheral artery disease or critical limb ischemia, it is only converted to nitric oxide in those tissues that need it and have no untoward side effects or effects thereof at all in non-ischemic tissues. Importantly, just to show you an illustration here, these are blood vessels that are being stimulated to grow in the ischemic limbs with a nitrite-treated animal and are not in controlled tissues or animals treated with vehicle controls. If you look at blood flow in the ischemic limb, letting the ischemic limb become deprived of blood flow for 5 days and then begin therapy, treatment with nitrite significantly increases blood flow in diabetic animal models. So we know in every animal model we've tested, we've done this now in numerous models, mice, rabbits, this is significantly increased. More importantly, we are strongly encouraged by the fact that there's an inverse correlation of circulating nitrite levels in cardiovascular disease risk factors in patients, and more importantly, PAD patients have lower levels of nitrite as well. So our advantage is that this is, as we know, the only known PAD drug to stimulate new blood vessel growth. And again, as I said earlier, has a very good safety profile in humans. It's currently used IV for cyanide poisoning, and we're developing additional formulations of this compound that will be highly effective. We've assembled a very well-experienced and organized, well-known scientific leadership board. In particular, Tony Giordano is our PhD president CEO, who wasn't actually able to join us here today, but he has put together 6 different biotech companies that have all been successful, myself as well, and then our medical advisory board, Jim Shook, Tracy Bunton, who have all been leading pharmaceutical consultants. And then more importantly, our formulation advisory board and scientific advisory boards are all experts in their field. What we're looking for entering into PAD and DVD markets is that we're going to look at the appropriate dosing in human PK clinical studies and to determine the safety and efficacy in a phase 2 human study. And importantly, we're going to develop in the process now sustained release formulations. One of the main indicators that we believe is going to increase the valuation of the company, we're already in the beginning phases of a 2A study where we're looking at the end of the phase 2B study will be an indication of efficacy that will drive the value of the company. And if the private equity markets are strong, we will go for a Series B round to step up valuation of the company and complete the phase 2 clinical trials, which we've now contacted Duke, the Cleveland Clinic, as well as Case Western University and other universities that we're in negotiations with. However, if the equity markets are weak, we'll seek licensing opportunities with other investments in biotech sectors and carry on our research and other follow-on programs. So what we're currently seeking right now is a $2.5 million tranche financing to advance both our clinical and research programs that are actively ongoing. We've achieved at least $650,000 in initial financing, with more money that is actually coming in even as of last night from various individuals in the Cleveland area. And with that, I would thank you for your attention and encourage you to come by booth 413.